You have been walking every single day, maybe for years, maybe for decades, and your legs are still getting weaker on stairs. That is not a feeling. That is a measurable biological fact. Research on aging muscles shows that adults lose somewhere between 3 and 8% of their muscle mass per decade, starting as early as their 30s. And the fibers that disappear first are not the ones walking uses. They are the high-force, fast-twitch fibers responsible for power, for balance, for the ability to stand up from a low chair without using your hands. Walking was never designed to protect those fibers. It never sent the right signal. And no amount of extra steps changes that. There is one specific exercise that does. And by the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly why it works and why your legs after 50 depend on it. Before I go further, if this kind of evidence-based breakdown is useful to you, this is exactly what we do on this channel. So consider staying with me for the next few minutes. Now let me talk about your legs at the level that actually matters. Your muscles are not one uniform thing. They are made of two distinct categories of fiber. Slow twitch fibers, sometimes called type 1, are built for endurance. They fire at low force for long durations, they resist fatigue, and they are exactly what your body recruits when you do something repetitive and low intensity, like walking. Fast twitch fibers type 2 are built for something entirely different. Force production, raw power, the strength that catches you when you stumble, that lifts you off a low surface, that pushes you up a steep flight of stairs without your legs giving out underneath you. And here is the part that changes everything. Fast twitch fibers do not activate just because you are moving. They require a specific threshold of mechanical load before your nervous system even bothers to recruit them. Your body operates on an efficiency principle. It will always use the minimum number of fibers necessary to complete a task. And for walking, even brisk walking, even walking uphill for most people, slow twitch fibers handle the job comfortably on their own. Your fast twitch fibers are sitting there the entire time completely idle, receiving no signal to fire, no reason to maintain themselves, and muscle tissue that receives no signal does not just stay the same, it shrinks. This process is called sarcopenia. And it is not a rare disease that happens to some people. It is a near universal biological reality that is happening right now inside the legs of almost every adult reading this, whether you feel it or not. The rate accelerates significantly after age 60, and the fibers lost first, disproportionately, are the fast twitch fibers, the power fibers. The ones responsible for every movement, that demands more than a gentle, sustained effort. This is why you see people in their 60s and 70s who can walk for miles without any difficulty. Their slow twitch endurance system is perfectly intact. And yet, those exact same people struggle to rise from a low couch without pushing off the armrests. They hesitate at the top of a staircase. They feel unstable stepping off an uneven curb. Because the system responsible for those movements, the fast twitch system, has been quietly atrophying for decades while nobody was paying attention to it. And walking never once sent the signal needed to protect it. Not at 30, not at 50, not at 70. The signal those fibers need is mechanical load, real force production through the legs in a pattern that demands more from your muscles than your own body weight moving forward across flat ground. And there is one movement that delivers exactly that signal with remarkable efficiency. The exercise is the single leg step up. And the reason it outperforms walking so dramatically comes down to 3 mechanical factors that stack on top of each other in a single movement. The first factor is unilateral loading. When you walk, your body weight is distributed across both legs in an alternating pattern. During a step up, one leg is asked to lift your entire body weight vertically against gravity with no assistance from the other leg. That immediately places a substantially higher mechanical demand on that single limb than walking ever does. Electromyography studies, which measure electrical activity inside muscle during movement, have consistently shown quadriceps and glute activation during a step up, running 2 to 3 times higher than activation recorded during normal paced walking. That higher activation is precisely what crosses the recruitment threshold needed to wake up fast twitch fibers. The second factor is the vertical force vector. Walking is a largely horizontal activity. You are propelling yourself forward across the ground. A step up forces your quadriceps, your glutes, and your hip stabilizers to generate force directly upward against gravity. And that vertical pattern is not a coincidence. It is the exact same pattern your legs need every time you rise from a chair, climb a staircase, or catch yourself from a stumble. The third factor is single leg stability demand. Walking is a highly practiced, highly automatic movement. Your nervous system barely has to work to keep you balanced. A step up, particularly performed slowly and with control, requires your stabilizing muscles around the hip, the ankle, and the knee to fire in a coordinated pattern to keep you from collapsing inward or dropping to one side. Researchers studying fall prevention in older adults have pointed specifically to single leg strength and single leg balance, not general walking capacity, as the strongest predictor of fall risk later in life. And this one movement trains all three factors simultaneously. There is a broader finding in the research that connects directly to what we have been building toward. Leg strength, and specifically the ability to rise from a seated position without using your arms, has emerged as one of the more reliable predictors of long-term health outcomes in older adults. It shows up in study after study, correlated with lower rates of mobility loss and lower mortality risk over subsequent years. This is not a claim that stronger legs magically extend your life through some mysterious pathway. The relationship is more likely a reflection of overall physiological resilience. But the correlation is strong enough that clinicians now use simple leg strength tests, including variations of the step up and the sit to stand, as a quick screening tool for functional aging. There is also a metabolic layer to this that most people never connect to leg strength at all. Muscle tissue is metabolically active even at rest. It consumes energy simply to maintain itself, and your legs contain the largest muscle groups in your entire body: the quadriceps, the hamstrings, the glutes. When you build real strength in those muscles, you are not just improving how your legs perform on stairs. You are meaningfully raising your resting metabolic rate. And more importantly, you are improving how efficiently your body clears glucose from your bloodstream after meals. Because contracting muscle tissue pulls glucose out of circulation independent of insulin, and larger, stronger leg muscles simply have more capacity to do that. Now, a common and reasonable concern people raise is whether stepping up repeatedly puts excessive strain on the knee joint. The research here is actually reassuring. When performed with proper form, meaning the knee tracks in line with the toes and the movement is controlled rather than jerky, strengthening the muscles surrounding the knee through exercises like this has been shown in physical therapy literature to reduce knee pain, not increase it, because stronger surrounding musculature absorbs the load that the joint itself would otherwise take. So, here is what this actually looks like in practice. Begin with a step height where your knee sits at roughly a 90-degree bend when your foot is planted on top. For most adults, that is somewhere between a curb height step and a standard stair step. If you are just starting, even lower is completely fine. Place one foot fully on the raised surface. Drive upward through that foot, pressing your heel down into the step rather than pushing off with your back toe, because pressing through the heel forces your glutes and quadriceps to do the actual work. Rise all the way up until your leg is straight, then lower yourself back down with control, resisting gravity on the way down rather than simply dropping. That controlled lowering phase is where a substantial portion of the strength adaptation actually occurs. 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions per leg, performed 2 to 3 times per week, is a reasonable structure. Progression comes from raising the step height, slowing the tempo, or eventually holding light weights in each hand. And here is something genuinely encouraging. In the first 2 to 4 weeks, most of the strength improvement comes not from actual muscle growth, but from neuromuscular adaptation, your nervous system learning to recruit the fast twitch fibers that were already there, but sitting dormant, which is why people often report feeling noticeably stronger on stairs within the first month, well before any visible change in muscle size. So think back to where we started. You have been walking every day, and your legs are still getting weaker on stairs. Now you know exactly why. And now you know the one movement that actually sends the signal your legs have been waiting for. If this changed how you think about your own body, hit the like button. Subscribe so you do not miss the next one. And drop a comment telling me your age and what your legs feel like on stairs today, because I read every single one and it shapes what we cover next.